Mosse, I'm going to bring you in here because I want you to read a quote from the great Jim Curtin, the head coach of the Philadelphia Union.
In an interview with The Athletic, he was asked about the television program Ted Lasso, and he said, "Do I think it has set back the American coach 20 years? Yes, I do."
Ooh, that is a money quote, by the way, because it hits and ticks so many different boxes here. All right, so the Ted Lasso phenomenon, we've talked about this before, and it is a phenomenon, and it continues on. And I guess this would be also a good point for us to highlight that we are going to interview the great Brendan Hunt, the Coach Beard of the show, writer, actor, wonderful talent. And so we will have that interview up for you next week. But this quote from Jim Curtin is really interesting. When I think about Ted Lasso and the effect that it has had on something that is near and dear to me, to you, to us when it comes to American soccer, and the way that it is brought people into the soccer tent, there is a part of me that absolutely looks at it as a positive and something that I am excited about and proud about. But make no mistake, Ted Lasso is built around a stereotype of American coaches, soccer coaches, and just coaches in sports in general. And it consistently reinforces a stereotype of American coaches. And in that sense, I think Jim Curtin is absolutely correct. But I also feel that Ted Lasso is a show about much more than soccer. And when I have, talked and met with the cast and told them how much I enjoy the show, I made a point of saying how I think they have found that wonderful balance. And from a soccer perspective, that means a lot. And I think more often than not, it laughs with us when I talk about American soccer people than at us. And keep this in mind. This is about entertainment. The Ted Lasso show has no responsibility to American soccer, to American soccer coaches, to American sports or American sports coaches out there. They have a responsibility to entertain and use whatever it is they feel appropriate to make the funniest and most appealing show. And they have obviously done that. But in doing that, they have perpetuated some of these stereotypes that many of us who have been around a long time have had to fight against. Now, I know I'm not an American coach, so I wouldn't claim to put my feet in the big shoes of someone like Jim Curtin, who I'm sure has aspirations to do other things, quote unquote, bigger things, and probably that involves at some point going to Europe. And he certainly has seen what has happened with the likes of Bob Bradley and Jesse Marsh. And I know when people bristle when you say that that perception has possibly hurt them or has come into play. And it's just about winning and losing. No, it's not. We're dealing with humans. And in this case, we're dealing with American humans. And in this case, we're dealing with American humans involved in soccer that come with baggage and come with that history. And yes, come with that stereotype. And so when the world and an American public is watching this show, and it confirms what a lot of people who have no real connection necessarily to soccer, and this might even be their only connection to soccer, again, it has the potential to hurt that perception internally in terms of how we see ourselves, and externally, it feeds into that stereotype that we see on a consistent basis and that many of us for now multiple generations as players, as coaches, as media members have been fighting against. And it's not to the point where I think that this is something that should go away or I want to go away by any stretch of the imagination. We're going to be just fine. Jim Curtin's going to be just fine. American soccer is going to be just fine. It can certainly withstand a show like Ted Lasso that pokes fun at us, at the game, because I think that there is also a tremendous amount of good that it is doing. And ultimately, if you can't laugh at yourself, then I think you got problems. And this is not a, I love Jim Curtin precisely because of the fact that he can laugh at himself. And he knows what he is up against. He knows that at times he's not going to necessarily be treated, had he been born in pretty much any place else but the United States, as a coach relative to opportunities or relative to the perception that somebody may have. And I think he recognizes it, but I also think that he's coming into his own when it comes to his platform and his voice. And so when he's asked that question, the easy answer is to say, nah, it's fine. It's no big deal. And we just laugh it off. But he didn't say that. I think he was incredibly human and honest in that moment. And I do think, as I said, that there is some truth to what he is saying. But that's not a reason for Ted Lasso as the show to care at all about what they are doing or what they are not doing or the impact that they are having or not having or to change in any way. Their job is to entertain us. And certainly over the last 5 years, since the show started, you're hard-pressed to find a show that has been more popular, more successful, more impactful, and more entertaining than Ted Lasso. And you know what? I'm going to talk to Brendan Hunt about this. I'm going to ask him if he feels the show has been hurtful or detrimental to the very game that it purports to support.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops every week. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.